Weighted calisthenics built my strength, my physique, and my mindset. I got stronger and broke my PRs. I crafted a decent physique and shaped my mindset into believing that it is all possible. But it wasn't always like that. A few years ago, I started training. I wanted to become bigger and stronger and just the type of guy you could notice took care of his body. As fitness content started rising on social media, I just did what everyone told me to do. If I saw a reel of someone saying bench press is the exercise to grow your chest, I did bench press. If the other week someone told me to do push-ups for chest, I did push-ups. It was a very uncertain phase because I wanted to dedicate myself to something I knew nothing about. Time passed anyways and I was enjoying a lot of the training sessions. But after a few months I looked in the mirror and I saw barely any difference. And furthermore, I had no idea if I was actually getting stronger because I switched exercises every week. I basically had no progress to measure. And when I look back at this, I was just training. But as we all know, building a bigger body and becoming a better athlete in general isn't just training. And that's when I realized something had to change. And honestly, at that moment, I almost quit. I remember one specific moment. I was cycling back home after a gym session, scrolling through Instagram, seeing all these transformation posts. People who'd been training for the same amount of time as me, looking incredible. And I was nowhere near them. But that night I made one decision. I was going to stop following random advice. I was going to choose one specific training method and commit to it for a longer period of time. No switching, no program hopping, just one good program done consistently for a longer period of time. And searching through all the training methods, weighted calisthenics was the one that sticked out to me the most. And honestly, the more I learned about it, the more it made sense. This wasn't just about getting a bigger body. It was about building an overall strong base that translated to an overall strong body. And that's what I wanted. I didn't want to just look strong. I wanted also to be strong. So what is weighted calisthenics? Weighted calisthenics is a training method focused on big compound movements that you usually could do with your own body weight. But with weighted calisthenics, you can add additional weights. Think of exercises like pull-ups, dips, push-ups, ring rows. These kinds of exercises are what you will find in a weighted calisthenics program. These aren't the isolation exercises where you're just working on one muscle group. These are movements where your entire body has to work together. And that's what builds your physique and strength like crazy. Because when you do weighted pull-ups, you're not just training one part of your back, you're training your lats, your biceps, your forearms, your core, your grip. And if you progressive overload on movements like that, that's what builds that raw strength. If you keep adding weight week after week, your body has no choice but to grow. And that's what makes weighted calisthenics different to everything I was doing before. It makes you focus on a few exercises rather than 30 different ones. And for me, that kind of simplicity worked. For me, the biggest movements I do is weighted push-ups, weighted dips, weighted pull-ups, and weighted chin-ups. That's it. And the strength you gain with these movements translate to almost everything. My grip strength improved massively because I was hanging from a bar with extra weight. My body control improved because I had to stabilize myself through full range of motion. My pull strength and my push strength became way better because I was progressive overloading on weighted pull-ups and weighted dips. And once I built that base of strength, I could look into my weaker points and a lot of the things I wanted to achieve became easier. So I committed. I wrote down my starting numbers, my max weighted pull-up, my max weighted dip, and I made a promise to myself. I was going to train these movements on a high intensity program with low volume. I was going to track my weights every single session because if I was going to dedicate myself, I needed to know if it was actually working. The first 3 months were hard, not because the training was impossible, but because progress felt slow. For example, I added 2.5 kg to my pull-up and it took me weeks to adapt to that kind of weight. And if you see a lot of these Instagram transformations, that's not what your mind thinks you will achieve in such a time frame. But this was the brutal truth. And a couple of months in, I was making so much progress. I was warming up one day and I hit my old max for reps. What used to be my maximum was now my warm-up weight. And that's when I realized my body had adapted. I'd built real strength, and when I looked in the mirror, I could see it. My upper body was a bit bigger, and surprisingly for me, it wasn't by doing 100 different exercises and using the most complex training method out there. It was from doing a couple of movements consistently and progressive overloading on them. And to be honest, the physical changes were cool, but my mindset improved a lot from this. Every time I added weight to the bar, every time I hit a new PR, I proved to myself that I was capable of more than I thought. And that kind of mindset also started to apply to other areas of my life. Because at moments where you push yourself through difficulties, that's when you gain a lot of discipline. It built my belief that I could do difficult things, and that's something that a dedicated athlete can use to improve other areas of his life. And therefore, I always say, training is an opportunity to better your life. That's for what you should strive. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.